Abdurrahman,
could you kindly...
he always refers his question to some verses of the Quran or some hadith. It's wonderful. Yes, please.
So, would you kindly tell us the meaning of another verse from the Holy Quran? Surah As-Saff, verse 61. وإذ قال عيسى ابن مريم يا بني إسرائيل إني رسول الله إليكم مصدقا لما بين يدي من التوراة ومبشرا برسول يأتي من بعد اسمه أحمد فلما جاءهم بالبينات قالوا هذا سحر مبين.
This verse has a twofold application, not a single application. The first primary application of this verse is to Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because the Holy Quran says they find his name written in the Old Testament as well as the New Testament. So it is wrong to say that this verse directly applies to Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salatu wasalam without the channel of Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If it doesn't come through his channel, then it doesn't go anywhere, you see. It should be remembered, it will be against the teaching of the Quran to declare or to maintain, in my opinion, to maintain that this verse bypasses Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and reaches Masih Maud directly as Ahmad. I have no doubt about it that the primary object of this promise is Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because the other verse of the Quran supports it. يَجِدُونَهُ مَكْتُوبًا عِنْدَهُ عِنْدَهُمْ فِي التَّوْرَاةِ وَالْإِنْجِيلِ. See, that shows if his name is not written in Injil, then the verse of the Quran is wrong. So some Ahmadis, out of their overzealousness to prove the truth of Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salatu wasalam, wrongly emphasize the application of this verse while there is no such need. Absolutely no need whatsoever. Remember, Ahmad mentioned here is primarily Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we read his name as Farqalit in the New Testament, and also as Ahmad. Exactly, Ahmad is written from the Damascus, written in the Damascus document, is the same spelling as Ahmad. So Ahmad and Ahmad are one and the same thing. Similarly, Farqalit has the same meaning, in fact. So Ahmad is Hazrat Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Hazrat Masih promises that Ahmad would come. But why is it that Hazrat Musa prophesies about him in the name of Muhammad, but Jesus Christ prophesies his coming in the name of Ahmad? This is the important point which has to be noted, because this will open the way to the future prophet, subordinate prophet Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And when you understand this point, that Hazrat Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, instead of prophesying that Muhammad would come after me, saying Ahmad would come after me, has done it with a divine purpose. He couldn't have done it on his own. There has to be some design by Allah, behind this difference of choice of the names. Moses chooses the name of Muhammad. Jesus chooses the name of, Moses chooses the name of Muhammad, Jesus that of Ahmad. So there must be some significance. The two significances which come to light immediately are, number one, Muhammad is the name of a glorious manifestation which has a sense of power and majesty. And it speaks also of a domination with the help of sword, where glory is won in battlefield. وَمَا بَيْنَهُمْ أَشِدَّاءُ الْكُفَّارِ أَشِدَّاءُ الْكُفَّارِ is also mentioned in this. So Muhammad is the name which has the sense of power, majesty, glory, and a fast domination. That is exactly the similarity of Hazrat Rasulullah Sallam to Hazrat Moses. You see, he was the first of the prophets. He was the law-bearing prophets of the Yahud or Israelites. Of course, there were prophets before him, but the law of Torah was brought. Law of the book was brought by Moses. So this is the book which is referred to throughout in the Holy Quran. Hazrat Isa did not bring a book, right? And he was not a man depicting that might and power and, transcendent glory which makes the part of Muhammad. His was a light which was more like the moon. The moon reflects the light of the sun. It doesn't glow by itself. So such is the case of the promised Messiah in Islam. Now remember now, why should Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam predict that there will be a Messiah in my Ummah as well? Because Isa, Jesus, was the Messiah of Muhammad, of Musa's Ummah. So because he has also predicted his coming, but he has chosen an attribute which was to display itself in the end part of the Ummah. So Shan-e-Ahmadi of Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah Sallam was to be manifested at the end of, not the end, but at the latter days of the Ummah. So that is why we believe that the prophecy of Ahmad by Jesus has a relationship with the prophecy of Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah Sallam of Messiah coming into his Ummah. So the name he chose also indicated that this Ahmadiyya Shan will happen, will manifest itself more clearly in the latter days. Like I have come at the end of the Ummah of Moses, so an Ahmad would be born also in the image of Muhammad Rasulullah Sallam, reflecting his light, not bringing his own light, to Islam in the latter days. If you do not agree with this explanation, then where did Rasulullah Sallam get the prophecy of, from where did Rasulullah Sallam get the prophecy of Ahmad? That is the question. He must have got it from somewhere. مَا يَنْتِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. So this is my attempt to reach the source in the Quran from where he got this prophecy. So the very mention that Ahmad would come must have told Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah Sallam that my Ahmadi attribute will be manifested fully in the latter days of my Ummah, and their Messiah would come to do that. Now when you read this, then other things are understood as well immediately. Why should a Messiah come to the Ummah at all? Why not somebody else under other titles? The answer is very simple to understand. Because Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam also emphasized the similarity of his Ummah to the Ummah of Moses. And during that similarity, expression of similarity, he said that a time would come, not in the beginning, in the end. A time would come when my Ummah would be similar to the Ummah of the Jews as one of the two pairs of shoes are similar to each other. The similarity will be so complete that if people in the latter part of Moses' Ummah had committed some heinous crimes, ugliest and the most beastly crimes, people would be born in my Ummah who would repeat even those crimes. So if the similarity of the latter part of the Ummah is exactly the same as it applies perfectly, is so perfect, so total, that it applies perfectly to the latter part of the Ummah of Moses, then the remedy should be the same. Because it's a well-tried remedy. The remedy for all the maladies of the Ummah of Moses in the latter days was Messiahhood. So when God told him, Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that in the end your Ummah would become very similar to that of Moses, it was but to infer from that like the Ummah of Moses was cured not by an ordinary prophet but by a Messiah, so also in my Ummah my Messiah will be born to cure all the illness of the latter days. But no new one could come, so it has to be Ahmad, born as a Messiah, because Ummah is that of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Prophecy is only of Ahmad. So that is how I relate one age with the other on the authority of the Old Testament, on the authority of the Quran, and on the authority of the predictions of Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam himself. So Ahmad primarily is the name of Muhammad Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Ahmad primarily applies to the latter days, when the new movement will begin for the domination of Islam over all of the faiths. This interpretation is not only our interpretation, this interpretation is fully supported by the great Muslim scholars, divinely supported scholars of earlier ages. Whenever they speak of the promise, they say this is going to happen at the time of the advent of Messiah. But that light, where will he get that light? Will he make his own light? It's impossible. Muhammad Rasulullah is the only light, Siraja Munira. His light can be transferred to the last part of the Ummah only through a perfect moon. And the perfect moons appear on the 14th night, in the beginning of the 14th night. And they illuminate the 14th night all of it, right through. So at the head of the 14th century, this full moon reflecting the light of Muhammad Rasulullah was destined to appear. And he did so. There is no other mujaddid, even claimed by the non-Ahmadi Muslims, who headed the 14th, very important, most important century, the 14th century. Because they don't see Muhammad Masih. So the whole century, as far as they are concerned, has missed a mujaddid. But when you see that the 14th night was the right moment for the full moon reflecting the light of Muhammad Rasulullah like no other moon ever had done before him, then we can see very clearly that Ahmad is the person who is the reflection of Muhammad Rasulullah's name of Ahmad or attribute of Ahmad for the latter days. Now, I have spoken at length on this subject because it's a very intriguing subject which sometimes is not clear to even Ahmadis, and some make the mistake of absolutely invalidly insisting that the primary object here is Hazrat Masih Maud al-Islam. Some will quote Hazrat Khalifa Masih Sani that he took this position, but they don't understand him as minutely as I do. Whenever he said it, he always had this in mind, that Ahmad is the person who, when he comes as Messiah, then he will be Masih Maud al-Islam. But he will come as Messiah only as a reflection of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So this is how he doesn't, separate the two attributes, snatching it away from Hazrat Rasulullah. It's impossible for him to have ever done that. Understand? But the translation, because the time is over, will be done tomorrow. Tell them, please.
أجاب حاتم
So if I come a little late, don't mind, you start doing it.
أجاب حاتم المؤمنين على سؤال الأخ عبد الرحمن وقال قد أجبت على هذا السؤال بما فيه الكفاية، لأن هنالك بعض الشبهات حتى في أذهان بعض الأخوة الأحمديين، وقال أنني أخذت وقتا طويلا للإجابة على هذا السؤال، وإن شاء الله غدا سنقدم لكم ترجمة ما قاله حاتم المؤمنين إلى أن يجمعنا الله بكم سبحانه وتعالى فرصة مقبلة. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.